our acting possibilities at school were after school. If you were in the drama group, or I think it was called the drama group, then you would have, there was no time for that during school time, so it was something you have to do after school. Whereas music, you know, we did have music during the school time, and so I could rehearse and then I'd get to perform. So it was either once a year there would be a kind of, our school had houses, so, and the kids were split amongst these 4 houses, and then there would be like an inter-house music competition once a year where, you know, whoever could play would go and play, and the rest of the school would watch. And so it was a really big event because the whole school was there, and you'd either sing a song or play a guitar, or I used to play, you know, French horn, and you'd practice up to that. And I remember, you know, like acting, you would rehearse, you'd practice up to the performance, and then very often it would just be the one that after the entire music competition was finished, that was it. Or then there'd be a school's music night, and that's where I felt that I was able to, because I think for some children at school, especially children who don't feel that they're particularly academic, or don't feel that they're very special at geography or history or maths, then music for me made me feel kind of special because I was quite good at it, or at least I wanted to work hard at it to the point where I felt I was good.
Did you find that process of performing gave you more confidence?
Yes, I think it gave me a sense of, you know, being in the pipe band, for instance, gave me a kind of sense of pride. I loved being in a band. It represented something very Scottish, and my father had been a side drummer, my uncle had been a side drummer, I was a side drummer, but, you know, it was in my blood. I'd heard pipe band music all my life, and it's something I still love to this day. Wherever always in the world you can hear a piper somewhere. There's a busker somewhere in Australia or wherever you are. You very often hear the pipes, and I still love it. And it made me feel. It gave me a kind of sense of identity. I was in the pipe band, and then later that became I was the drummer in the school rock band. You know, and that again made me feel good because I felt like there was something quite cool about that. And at break, you know, at lunchtime or break time, instead of going off and hanging out or smoking behind the bike, I was going off to the drum room so I could practice the drum kit, and it gave me a kind of motivation towards that, you know.
It sounds like you had a pretty, I don't know, active school. You know, the people were organising drama after school.
Yeah.
There was a rock band and so on.
Right.
Were there particular teachers at the school that were kind of?
Our music teachers were quite. I mean, the drama seemed to come through music, as opposed to, I think nowadays you might find it comes from the English department, or. Whereas, you know, the theatre in my school, at the English department, was much more about sitting in class reading bits of Shakespeare or something that nobody was really that excited about. And the easiest way to make it more exciting would be just to have cleared the desk to one side and get up and do it. Just that alone would make it infinitely more interesting. Because sitting reading it is an exercise in reading the words on the page, but trying to make them alive, trying to make those words into things that people are saying to one another is what theatre's all about, and if we'd done more of that, I think that would have been more exciting. And that's what music was, you know, because you were up there, and or the poetry readings in the same respect, you know, when it's a performance, you know, with an audience, and you're trying to make sense of the music or the words in the poem, you know. But it was a very, I mean, now I consider myself very lucky musically because I found it's been so helpful in my life. I mean, because I find rhythm in everything, you know, walking down the street, there's music in everything, you know, and I've got a sense of it. I was taught it. I feel like it was kind of nurtured so that I'm, and it's what I'm trying to pass on to my kids. I find music really important in life, and I think it's a terrible shame nowadays that schools are, you know, don't have instruments, so kids don't get music lessons, and it's, you know, it becomes more and more academic, the school world, I think, which is a shame for the kids who aren't academic. We didn't have a drama teacher at all. I mean, we had the guy that made an impression on me in drama at school was he taught typing and what's it called, home economics, is that right? Probably doesn't even exist anymore, does it? Anyway, he was a typing teacher. He was the guy that directed the plays that I was in. But we didn't have a drama teacher.
What made a good teacher? I mean, what was that like?
I think someone that excited, that made the subject come to life, you know. Someone that made you want to learn it, you know. So many of my teachers, I never really understood why I was learning any of this stuff. They didn't really, I missed the point, or maybe or it wasn't really made very clear that any of it might be of any use later on in life. And now I look back, and of course it could have been, you know, and it would have been, but I didn't realize at the time. I just thought it was stuff you had to get through. But actually, you know, a teacher that makes the subject accessible and makes it come to life so that you actually are interested, you want to learn about it. I mean, I remember doing years of geography, and then towards the end, before I left school, we got sent out to do this geography field trip, you know, and we were suddenly in rivers, measuring distant, floating tennis balls down the river, measuring the speed, and suddenly I went, oh gee, this is what geography is. It's about it's about the land. I never really paid any attention before, you know, because I missed the point. So I think teachers have to, you know, the responsibility is to teach that subject, but also to make it really valid and make the children realize why it might be important, or excite you into wanting to know more.